What is up, YouTube? What is up, YouTube? If you're thinking about clicking away from this video, you probably shouldn't, because this might be the video that begins to shift your perspective on life. Now, I'm not saying I'm a hugely successful person, but I've learned a thing or two throughout my 32 years of life, and I've been in probably a similar situation to you if you've clicked on this video. Maybe you're in a relationship that's gotten difficult. Maybe you want to go after a dream so bad, but you can't either find the courage to stick with it, or you're in the midst of it and it's not going the way that you planned. Or perhaps in the darkest scenario, you're thinking about giving up on your life. And to start off, I want to say, don't do it. And I don't mean that in a joking way. I mean that as a person that's also been there. I remember the darkest period of my life was when I dropped out of college. So I dropped out of college to move home for a year, and I suck at keeping in touch with my friends. And especially since I went to boarding school, I lost a lot of those connections. So I really didn't even know who my friends were. I would literally be rotting away at home for an entire year, wondering, where the hell is my life going? I don't have any friends. Even the games that I used to pass away the time, I played Counter-Strike at the time, I'm not even good at, so I'm literally spending a huge chunk of my day getting wrecked online. It just got worse. I started smoking weed. I started drinking, just to numb this pain of existence. In fact, the hope isn't even there. You're just like, man, this is just going to be my life for the rest of my life. We have like a small piece of property about an hour away from Houston, and I just wanted to get away from my parents. So I was driving there, and then on the way, I felt so bad that I called the Unalive hotline, let's call it. And the lady picked up, and I tried telling her about my problems. Like, I have no friends. I have no existence, no reason for existence. I am thinking about unaliving myself. And the lady on the other side of the phone, she said, well, this hotline is designed for people that have an active plan to unalive themselves. So please call back when you actually have a plan. And I thought, man, here's another thing that I've tried and failed at, just to talk with someone on the phone, and I don't even have a plan on how to do it. I'm trying to like keep the feelings down because, when you think about certain memories, it brings up certain feelings. But that was a time in my life when I felt really backed into a corner, and I thought that there was no way out. I felt like I wasn't good at anything. So that was the day that I decided, you know what, instead of wasting away at home, because that's literally what it was. I would spend my time getting up, scrolling through my phone, hopping online, playing games, getting wrecked, and then going to sleep, wondering when things were going to get better and praying that there was going to be a way in which I could make my life better. And it wasn't until I started applying for a job. I literally took the first job I could find after about a month of just nonstop sending out applications. And the first job that I found was selling DirecTV in Walmart. But it's even worse than it sounds. I would stop Walmart shoppers in the electronics aisle, do anything to get their attention. And eventually I would pull out my clipboard, ask them, how many TVs do you have? How much are you paying for cable? This is how much you're paying. with DirecTV, with as many TVs, it would cost this much, and get them to sign up for a 2-year contract with a credit check and get them to switch over right then and there. And it was honestly still, I think, one of the toughest jobs I've had in my life, because attention Walmart shoppers, you're not that friendly. You're a very precocious bunch. But regardless of that, I look back on that as a fond memory, right? I look back on that as the first step in which I stopped letting things happen to me, and then found the courage to start making steps for myself. And I think you can take that step too. And you've honestly probably made a lot of those steps already. You just don't know how far you've come. And it was that job, it really forced me out of my comfort zone, because I've always thought that I've been this huge introvert, not good with people, horrible at communication, have no friends, nothing going good for me whatsoever. And those thoughts, as I was in that year of just hating on myself and speaking negative thoughts to myself, those just amplified that negative voice within me, which honestly, I think it's the devil. I think it's a demon that wants you to feel powerless, that you can't go after your dreams, that there's things in this life that are not meant for you. That demon was very amplified during that year of just existing, not even living, but just existing, as if a rock was existing. But after taking that job and trying to get the attention of Walmart shoppers and making sales, honestly, realizing that, hey, if you just find the right person that truly needs DirecTV, you can actually have success. You can make off a check mark. And then I started building confidence in myself with other people. If I'm just authentic and cool and relaxed and not really caring what this other person thinks about me, but rather that you're just going to be authentic, you have a job to do, and if you're able to help the people that you're able to help, that's great. If they don't need your help, that's great too. You're able to figure that out. But more in the process of pushing myself every day, and hey, you got to go talk to 90 to 100 people today. You got to go and approach them. And just that small act of wanting to push yourself, doing it, and then being happy that you pushed yourself in that way, that led me to completely shift the way in which I viewed my life. I viewed it from a perspective of, I can't do anything, and there's something broken within me that is going to linger with me for the rest of my life. And it turns out that I do have a lot of gifts when it comes to building connections with people, in terms of persuading people, of telling people about my perspective, and that I am a likable person, that given enough time and how true I am to myself when I am with some person, and letting them actually see the real me, right? Letting them actually see the faults that I believe that I have and the weird thoughts in my head. But being able to be comfortable and be kind to myself and recognize that I'm on this journey, and it's not a sprint. It's a marathon of learning about yourself, confronting the things that happened earlier in my life that I was dissatisfied with, and giving myself permission to love myself, to be kind to myself. And just to say too, it wasn't this all-in-one experience that stopped the depression, that stopped the pain from going away, but these life experiences, they fundamentally shifted who I am and how I view myself. I think that's an important thing too, is instead of viewing myself as a broken thing that couldn't be mended, I viewed myself more like a tree where I started off as a seed. And, trees, a lot of the appearance that we see about trees, we can't even see half of it because a lot of it is the roots underneath, right? And it takes time to build those roots. And it's why plants take a long time to grow, is because they're taking and building networks underground in order to have that support so that they can flourish above ground, right? And in those 10 years, I've done a lot of work on myself. I've confronted these uncomfortable memories where I would just think about them and then just get this like uncontrollable emotion where I thought, man, like that feeling is still so present. But then the older you get, you face a lot of those experiences and you start to learn this experience that you had as a child. And until I'm able to unravel what really happened and be able to accept that emotion and then process it in a healthy way. And for me, that involves sitting with that emotion, confronting it. And then once you're able to accept that feeling, that connection, the connection between the memory and the feeling, it becomes a lot less. And then you're also able to choose the feeling that you want to have in relation to that emotion, right? So all the breakups that I've experienced, all the experiences with addiction, right? I'm Korean, so I have a drinking problem, but I had to figure out why I wanted to get drunk. And it's because I was running away from myself. And it wasn't until I realized that and had to repair this relationship with myself saying, dude, you don't need to be drunk to have a good time. You're Yubin. You can have a good time just living this life of Yubin. And it's a wonderful game that we get to play. There's so many cool things that we get to experience, so many cool people that we get to meet. And I don't want to play this game and get a dead screen like you are dead after trying and failing at something and just quit the game entirely, right? I was that guy. Like, I honestly, when playing video games, I used to cheat a lot. I would look up cheats, and sometimes even before I got the game, I was like, oh, what type of cheats does this game have? And I would do that because I would get this huge feeling of failure when the computer game would say you are dead or you failed or you died or something. It made me feel like I had truly died. But there's no dead screens. There's only one dead screen in this game of life. And that's when you actually die. Sorry to spoil it for you, but that's how it actually works. But everything in between it's an exciting adventure of you getting out of whatever hole that you've dug yourself into or a cave that you don't know how you got there, but you get out of there. You're able to push yourself, and in video games, you're allowed to level up. You acquire skills and items, and you meet people that take you on a quest, and you meet companions for the journey. These are your friends, right? These are all things that you get to have in this lifetime. And for me, that's this drive. This is part of why I'm doing this drive. Is I have this quest of being a comedian and becoming a content creator that helps people to laugh at their depression, laugh at their anxiety, and find light in the darkness. And I honestly can say thank you to the younger me that pushed himself, didn't let him give up. And if I were to have done that, I wouldn't have this sense of inspiration. I wouldn't have this excitement for the future. And everything is possible, right? After every sunset, there's a sunrise, That's very cliche. I understand. But tomorrow you have a whole 24 hours to figure out reasons why you're alive. And if, especially if you're a young person, you haven't learned everything that you're supposed to have learned. You haven't met all the people, like I said, that gives you those quests or companions for the adventure. And until you do, and until you find the reason on which you're here, don't give up. Truly don't. Because who knows when your next breakthrough is going to be? Who knows if tomorrow you sit by yourself and you reflect on your life and you find that motivation to really go after what you're put on earth here to do. And with that, I just want to give you hope. Hope that from a 32-year-old to whatever age that you are, I want to give you hope that there is a better version of you out there. And you're probably a lot closer than you think if you think the right way. So love you guys. Just wanted to share that message. Have an awesome day.